Hello there, welcome to today's video, and I'm so glad that you are here. So if you're an adoptive parent and you've been feeling like your home is stuck in, survival mode, if the behaviors in your family feel overwhelming, or if you've caught yourself thinking, I don't know how much longer I can do this, I want you to know that you're not alone. And in this video specifically, I'm going to be talking about a concept which is called radical acceptance. So we're going to go over what is radical acceptance. We're going to go over 3 common barriers to radical acceptance, and then 3 simple ways to begin practicing radical acceptance. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is myCaRE&CO. I'm a trauma-informed post-adoption parenting coach where I support specifically Christian adoptive parents in their journey. So I share on this platform here, I share gentle encouragement, faith-filled wisdom, and trauma-informed tools to support you along this journey. It's real, it's hard, and it's beautiful season that you're in. So if you've ever thought that this is harder than expected, or why does love alone not solve everything, then you're absolutely in the right place. This space is all about reminding you, yet you don't have to do this all alone, and that there's also God supporting you in the middle of the mess. So let's grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and just sit down and relax for a few minutes so that we can discuss radical acceptance. So let's start first with what is radical acceptance. So radical acceptance is a skill from something called DBT, so it's dialectical behavior therapy, and it just simply says that we radically accept the situation as it is. So accepting our reality without fighting it, without going against it, without trying to fix it, and without wanting it to go away. So not working harder than the situation, basically. So we're just sitting in the moment and accepting it. So again, it doesn't mean that you approve of the situation. It doesn't mean that you don't want this pain or this chaos to be over. And it doesn't mean that you're giving up. It just means that at the moment, I'm sitting where I am, this is my reality, and I'm going to accept it for what it is. And I will stop fighting against it, acknowledging that this is hard, and just sitting with it. Another example would be, again from DBT, is called surfing the wave. So again, like imagine there's a big wave, and you have 3 options. So you can either fight it, and most probably that is going to be a losing battle. You can either go under and hope that you'll come out of it somehow, but because the wave is so huge, you just feel that you're drowning and drowning and drowning, so that doesn't work either. So the other thing which we say in DBT is surfing the wave, or ride the wave. So what you're going to do is you're just going to put up all your armor, and you're just going to glide over and surf the wave, how the wave goes. And again, it doesn't mean that you like being in the wave. It doesn't mean that you're accepting the situation. It's just that at the moment you're in the wave, the reality is this, there's this big wave coming, and you're just going to ride the wave. And also, I think here is the part that the world often leaves out, and that is you don't have to do this in your own strength. Radical acceptance is just not a mental exercise, it's also a spiritual surrender where we lean on to the one who can support us, we can go to, and we can say, Lord, I can't fix it, but I know you're with me and your grace is enough. And I think that also gives us a lot of power, because we don't have to carry this weight alone. So let's start first with going over the 3 things that hold us back. So the first, I think, which is a big one, it's comparison. So we look at other families and think, oh, why do they have it easier? Why do their kids seem so connected? Why do their kids seem so well behaved? Why the family doesn't face the same struggles as I do? So I think to stop the comparison, and again, like, we acknowledge I'm comparing myself because my situation is hard, I don't want to be in this situation, I want it to be a little bit easier. So acknowledging it for what it is, and then kind of like checking yourself and say, okay, this is comparison, I'm not going to comparison, because I know that comparison will steal my peace and will delay my healing. And your family story is uniquely yours, and your child's journey is not meant to look like anyone else. The second one is self-pity. When the hard days pile up, the mind starts talking, and we start hearing, why me? Why does my family have to walk this road? And I think self-pity is a trap. Joyce Meyer says, instead of asking yourself, why me? Maybe we should start asking, why not me? And it's true, because self-pity unfortunately keeps us stuck. And the only way out of it is to shift from the why me to God, I trust you even in this, and it is what it is. And again, we go back to that radical acceptance where we're accepting it as it is. This is my situation. God, I need your help. The third one is the fix-it mentality. And I think this is a big one, especially for adoptive parents, because you love your kid so much, you want to fix their pain, but trauma-rooted behaviors aren't something that you can fix with just efforts. Some things are simply beyond your control, and that's why we kind of like advocate that the best part is that you radically accept the situation for what it is. Because what happens is that the more you try to force change, the more exhausted, the more defeated you feel and become, and it kind of like feels like a losing battle. So to avoid that, we try to eliminate the fixing others, and instead practicing this radical acceptance. The situation is what it is. I can't control what others do, but I can control the situation on my terms. Find 3 ways now that we can begin to practice this radical acceptance. So what can we do instead? So the first one is to pause and acknowledge. So we stop, we breathe, and we speak this simple truth, and we say, this is hard, this is where we are right now, and that's okay. God, help me accept it for what it is. So naming it doesn't make it worse, it just creates this space for peace. So it's important to not just ignore it and swipe it out of your life, because this is your reality. So what you're just going to do is you're just going to acknowledge it, validate your own self, and then say, okay, it is hard, the situation is not what I really want, I wish for something better, and in the moment, this is the situation, and this is what I'm going to be working with. The next one is replace fixing with faith. So I think sometimes we try so hard to fix it, and instead of working so hard to fix it, we can just rely on Him, and we just can lean on to our God. So instead of trying to fix our child, instead of trying to fix the situation, we just say, okay, God, I cannot do it by myself, I just need your strength. And there's the scripture, which is Psalm 46:10, which says, be still and know that I am God. So just leaning onto Him, and maybe even writing this scripture where you can find it, so that as soon as you start feeling that it's overwhelming, the situation is so hard, then you go, okay, be still and know that I am God and that He is with us. And the third way is focus on what you can influence. So again, you can't control your child's trauma responses. You can't control their behavior, you can't control their attitudes. Unfortunately, it's something beyond your control. And at some certain point as well, it might also be beyond your child's control. So trying to make things happen is just going to backfire, it's just going to make you frustrated, so it doesn't even work like that. So what you can create, and again we'll be discussing this in future videos, is you can create what is called felt safety in your home. So you can soften your tone, you can offer consistency. You can just be the calm in the storm. So you can calm your own nervous system. And again, I know that this is harder than just saying it. Like when you're doing it and your nervous system is fired up and you're like so worked up, it's so hard to just say, okay, you know, it is what it is. Because it's hard and your nervous system is so worked up. But what you can do is you can say, okay, I can't control it. Let me see what I can do in the moment to make the situation a little bit easier for everybody. And again, it could just be radically accepting the situation, so not even doing anything. Like say, okay, it is what it is, and this is my reality, and I'm just going to accept it. And most of the times working with other parents, you start noticing a shift. So just by radically accepting the situation, you start noticing a shift. So it might feel that you're not doing something, as in you're not working on a strategy, you're not implementing a tool, you're not doing something. But by radically accepting, believe me, you're actually doing something. And you start noticing shifts, small, tiny shifts in the situation. So another thing as well is also noticing. So we like scaling a lot. So if you had to do a scale from 0 to 10, so where 0 means, oh, we're losing it, the family is chaos, the behaviors are too much for me, like they're beyond control. Everything seems to be completely a mess, a complete mess. And 10 is, oh, everything is perfect, you know, it's where I am, we have joy, we have peace, we have family life, we have some kind of structure. So where are you on that scale from 0 to 10? So, and again, like maybe you're at 3. 10 is unrealistic, you know, for everybody. I would say it's kind of like the dream that is unattainable. So let's say I'm at a 3, you're at a 3. What can you do to be at 3.5? So you don't have to be a 7 from a 3. What can I do today to be to a 3.5? And just kind of like reflecting on this. So whenever you do this radical acceptance, notice if there are some slight shifts, and I bet that if you're looking, you will find them. So to make it a 3.5, say, oh, because I accepted it, I radically accepted the situation for what it is, I didn't become frustrated, and then my child didn't feed off my frustration. So those tiny steps, and I encourage you to try this radical acceptance, because it doesn't seem so big, but it's big. And try it. I think healing begins not with fixing things, but with accepting and surrendering to God. So I hope this video has been of encouragement. Hope that you don't feel alone in this journey, because a lot of parents go through this journey, and radically accepting the situation is the first step towards healing. So I encourage you to try it. You don't need to be so overwhelmed with it. Just try just little piece of it. Comment below, let me know how things are working out, if you have tried something, if it is working, if it is not working, and look out for future videos where we continue discussing all those things in relation to have a more peaceful, joyful, healing home. Don't forget the worksheet down below. Download it and start working on it. It kind of like briefly summarizes what was discussed today, so that you can have some points to refer to, and you can maybe jot down your own notes and say, oh, maybe let me try this, let me see this, and maybe writing down more scripture, which would be more helpful for you, or maybe coming up with some situations where you feel like, oh, I need to radically accept this part in my life, in my family. So I don't need to radically accept everything. I can just radically accept one behavior which seems like that I can't tolerate at the moment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.